Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 28th of February. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, in the today's video, we'll be taking up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper and we'll see if there are some good articles in the Indian Express explained section. Now, first of all, let's see the overview of the relevant articles in the today's newspaper. So first of all, the Indian Express, it is talking about the German turnaround. So guys, see, first of all, what this particular article is talking about. This article is discussing about the two of the issues. Number one is the SWIFT. Okay, so the USA and the Europe has decided that the Russia will be banned from the SWIFT. Okay, so we'll see this particular entire issue. Then the German turnaround has been discussed. So basically, as this Ukraine and Russia crisis is going on, in this particular thing, before that, the Germany has taken a kind of a situation where neither it was supporting the Russia nor it was supporting very directly to the USA. The Germany's position was something like this, that Germany has warned very strictly to the Russia that if you will do something, if you will be showing any kind of an aggression, Nord Stream 2 pipeline will be put on a hold. And at the same time, the USA and the West was also said that the Russia should not be taken just for granted. Okay, so the Russia's concern should be addressed, and the basically such kind of standpoint was taken. Moreover, the Germany also said this particular thing, that the German made weapons will not be supplied to the conflict zone, particularly to the Ukrainians. But now the Germany has changed their position. Now Germany is saying that now the Germany is taking a position which is more against the Russia, and Germany has allowed that the German made weapons can be supplied to the Ukraine, and Germany itself is supplying the weapons from its own stockpile. So this is the German turnaround that has happened. Is it clear? Apart from this, nothing is more there. SWIFT issue, we will be seeing this entire article into the detail. Then guys, further moving on in this particular direction, the IS International Space Station, Russia's participation. Now basically in this article nothing much substance is there. Fine, what has happened, the chief of the Russia space agency, they have said that we will let the International Space Station fall down, and it might fall then on the USA or Europe or India or China. Clear? So just that thing is provided. Then moving to the Hindu newspaper. So before that, let's see the text and the context page. So the Canada's digital service tax and the USTR's opposition, we'll see this particular article. Then after that, exclusion from SWIFT, what it entails. So in Indian Express also this thing is provided, we'll be seeing it. Then how Facebook made itself a hostage of fortune. So basically now we have seen that the parent company of Facebook, it has renamed itself as Meta. So how basically into the present time the Facebook is seeing a declining profitability and all such kind of things. Thus future of the Facebook etc. has been discussed. With respect to the UPSC, much of substance is not there in this particular article. Now moving to the main Hindu paper. Okay, so page number 1. So India is engaged with all parties of Ukraine foreign secretary. So guys, understand this particular thing, that as this Russia Ukraine issue is going on every day some of the development will be coming in this direction. You need not to see the day-to-day developments. Okay, however, there is a couple of articles that we'll be seeing here. Then after that, voter turnout into the fifth phase of UP etc. has been given. Nothing very much important is there in this particular direction. Then after that, moving on to the city section, regional issues, advertisements etc. has been given. Okay, nothing is there. Then we'll be directly reaching to the editorial section. Clear guys? In region section, much important news were not there. The anatomy of India's Ukraine dilemma. So again, the Ukraine and what are the India's stakes in it, it has been discussed. We'll be briefly be discussing this article. A day to embody the true spirit of science. Okay, we'll see briefly what this article is talking about, what is the main message. Then a testing vote. Okay, so this is talking about the UNSC vote that has already happened and the vote that will now be held into the General Assembly. We'll see what is there in this article. Then quick fix. So it is talking about that there needs to be we need to develop more medical colleges. So we'll see this article. Then is the BJP losing ground in Uttar Pradesh? Political article, not important for your examination. Tackling the plastic problem, we'll briefly be seeing this article. Find CPIM's walks the tightrope. Clear? So with respect to exam, much important thing is not there. Now guys, after that, India to face tough choices at UNGA. We'll see this thing. Okay, DRDO Safran to develop engine for aircraft. Okay, now guys, see, basically until and unless some conceptual thing is coming clear, such kind of evolutionary details are not that much important. Okay, though you might be making a lot of notes out of it, but exactly at the end of the exam it is not making much of a sense, so please understand this particular thing. Then 8 fishermen held by the Sri Lankan Navy. So guys, the fishermen issue already we have discussed on to the Saturday, that it is a very big irritant between the India and Sri Lanka. So every coming few days, either of the countries, they are arresting their respective ship, other countries fishermen. Okay, so this is going on, no need to see every day's detail. Then assembly polls, so political news are provided in this entire page. Then guys, after that, uh, CBI looks for clues for the lost NSC laptop, etc. Such kind of things are given. Then this entire page is filled with the Ukraine, Russia. Now the SWIFT ban again has been discussed. We'll see this thing. Okay. Then guys, today is the Monday, and on Monday the business page doesn't comes. There is the money wise page. Now the money wise page, it talks about the investment, share market trends, etc. Fine, and then we have the sports. So that is about the entire newspaper. And now guys, let's see the all these articles one by one in the detail. Now, before moving on, first of all, as we start our every class with the GS quote, so today we'll be taking the quote from the Martin Luther King Jr. So Martin Luther King Jr. says that the education without morals is like a ship without a compass, merely wandering nowhere. So basically, compass shows the direction to a ship as which direction should be followed. Now the education which is devoid of morals, education which doesn't inculcates how to recognize right from the wrong, how to take stand for the just and how to condemn the unjust. If the education is not teaching you the morals, if education is not inculcating a sense of morals, it is just like a ship which is not having any direction. Clear? So guys, this particular idea we can directly use in the GS paper number 4. GS paper number 4, the role of education in building the ethical, in inculcating the ethics and morals. Clear? So this is something that we can use. Okay, now guys, moving on. First of all, let's see the answers for the last MCQs for the 26th of the February that were taken. Okay, the first question, the answer will be D, and the second question, the answer will be A. You can pause the video and can read the statements which have been given. Moreover, please download the PDF also from our Telegram channel, this entire PDF. Now, taking up the MCQs for today. So first MCQ is talking about the India-Sri Lanka relationship. Okay. So guys, the India-Sri Lanka relationship is coming a lot in the news in the past few days. So please read the statements and identify the correct statement. Clear? You can pause the video, can read it, and guys, please mark your answers into the comment box. I read everybody of your answers as what you are saying, and just pausing will build a good habit as you'll revise the things. Then the next question is with respect to the Commonwealth of Independent States. Clear? Already we have seen this CIAS. Okay, so please read the statements and mark the correct option. Okay, and after this, moving to the first article. Okay, before that, there is one comment that I would like to address. Okay, so first of all, very good morning to everybody whosoever has wished. Very good morning to everyone. Okay, Shreya, Shiva, Pallavi, Karthik, Fidel Castro, Binu, Sandeep, Meet Junior, okay, Sandeep, okay, Kumar Rao, everybody, very good morning. And okay, so there is one comment that has been there. Okay, sir, please explain what benefit in terms of trade and sea route Russia may get if Russia captures Ukraine, and when Russia have such a huge coast in eastern side and have some access to Black Sea. Okay, so already first of all we have discussed this particular code, but this particular issue, but I'll explain it again. So basically, see, when we talk about the Russia has a very big landmass. Okay, it has a very big landmass, and on to the eastern side, okay, as well as around the north, it has a lot of access to the sea. But the problem is that that the access to the sea that the Russia is having, there are the cold water ports. There are the cold water ports. Now what are these cold water ports? Now these particular ports, they are frozen around the month of the winter, and for a very long period of time they are frozen, and operating the vessels, operating the naval fleets are a little bit difficult here. Is it clear or not? Now when we talk about the Ukraine, Ukraine has a very strategic position. Number one, Ukraine has the strategic position into the Black Sea, and from Black Sea the passage to the Mediterranean gets open. From the Black Sea towards the Mediterranean Sea. Fine. And moreover, guys, the Ukraine's position is something like this, that from Ukraine going to the Eastern Europe is very much easy. Is it clear? So basically, the Ukraine is of a special significance because Ukraine will provide the much of the access to the Black Sea, and in the Black Sea there are the hot water ports, or the warm water ports. Rather than the hot, it will be called as the warm water ports. Now the warm water ports means that they are ice free and they can be used around the entire year. Moreover, the Ukraine is a neighbor of Russia, and it is the largest, one of the largest country into the Europe. And the Ukraine was trying to become the NATO member, which might have impacted the strategic interest of the Russia. So this is the reason that the Ukraine is to be invaded. The most important reason is that Russia will get a very big access into the Black Sea if the Ukraine comes under their control. So this is the significance with respect to the water connectivity. Clear? So I hope, guys, I hope Meet JR, this thing is clear. Now moving to the first article. So the first article, guys, here this article, the Swift, it has been mentioned into the Indian Express explained section, as already we have discussed. Okay, it is in the Hindu text and the context. Fine. So let's discuss what is this Swift issue that has come. Now, basically, first of all, let's understand the background, and then we'll be understanding what this entire issue is. Okay. Now, guys, this Swift, it can be important to overall make a general understanding. So, for general awareness, this Swift is important. Clear? Now, recently, the USA, the Europe, and many other Western nations, they have said that the Russia will be excluded from the Swift. Okay, and by this particular thing, they are expecting that a lot of economic pressure will be created onto the Russia, and because of the fear of this economic pressure, Russia might go soft on the Ukraine. So what is this Swift? Is it clear? Now, guys, now basically when we talk about the Swift, okay, so basically Swift, it is a messaging network. Okay, Swift, it is a messaging network. Let's understand this by the help of an analogy. Fine, by the help of an analogy. Now suppose this is a person, its name is Mr. A. Okay, and let's say that the Mr. A is having a bank account into the Punjab National Bank. He is having the bank account into the Punjab National Bank, and he want to send the money to some Mr. B. He want to send the money to Mr. B. Now the Mr. B is having the bank into the Bank of America. He is having the account into the Bank of America. Now the transaction has to be made from here to here. Now, guys, before making a transaction, Mr. A needs to have the Swift code. He needs to have the Swift code of this Bank of America, because only when this Swift code is there, the money can be transferred to this Bank of America. So there is a Swift code, or there is the BIC code that is there. The BIC stands for the Bank Identification Code. Clear? How to make sure that you are sending the money into the right bank? There are the thousands and thousands of banks around the world. Is it clear? And because that there is not a mistake. Okay, you don't send the money to the wrong bank. Every bank is actually assigned a very unique code. That unique code is called as the Swift code, or it is called as the BIC code, Bank Identification Code. So as in your schools, you were given the roll numbers. As in the schools, you were given the roll numbers, or let's say if you are in a college, you have a unique registration ID. So into this particular way, all the financial institutions, all the banks, they have their Swift code. Now, guys, what will happen? Now the money is to be transferred, let's say, from the PNB Bank to the Bank of America. So the PNB Bank will send a message through the Swift to the Bank of America. It will send a message through the Swift to the Bank of America. If the Bank of America approves that particular message, then only the money will be transferred from the PNB to the Bank of America. So what this Swift is? Swift is simply a network, simply a messaging system. So Swift is simply a messaging network which is used by the banks and the financial institutions for the quick and faultless seamless exchange of information pertaining to financial transactions. Is it clear or not? The SWIFT, it is headquartered into the Belgium, and under the SWIFT more than 11,000 of the banking organizations from more than 200 countries, they are connected. Okay, each participant onto the platform, it means each bank onto this platform is given a unique 8-digit SWIFT code or the bank identification code, and by this the money will be transferred. Is it clear? I again telling you, SWIFT is merely a platform that send messages and the money is not held into the SWIFT. Now what will happen if the Russia's banks will be banned from the SWIFT network? If the Russia's bank will be banned from here, obviously they cannot receive the money from the foreign institutions, because if the banks will be banned, okay, the address will not be there, and where to send money, it will become difficult. Is it clear? So therefore there it is being said that the Russia will be banned. If this particular thing will happen, the foreign investors will not be able to invest money into the Russia. Many of the foreign remittances that were coming into Russia, they will not be able to come, and this will create a lot of economic pressure onto the Russia. So this is something that is being done. Okay, fine. So that is all fine. Apart from that, no need to go too much deep into this particular thing. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Canada's digital service tax and the USTR's opposition. Okay, so first of all, let's understand, guys, that what is this article. Okay, this article will be important for the GS paper number 3, GS paper number 3 as well as GS paper number 2. In GS paper number 3, issues related to the economy, the issues related to the economy, it can be important. Let's understand that what this article is all about. First of all, the background. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that there are today the MNCs, the transnational companies, multinational companies are there. Let's take one example of a company, Facebook. Fine, Facebook. Now Facebook is a digital services company. Now Facebook, it is based in USA, but the Facebook, it also has its presence in the India. Clear? Now what the Facebook is doing in India, large number of people, they have their account onto the Facebook. Now large number of merchants, large number of businesses are there on the Facebook. Now these businesses, they are paying a lot of money to the Facebook so that the Facebook can advertise these businesses onto its platform. Now these businesses want to get advertised on Facebook and they are paying the money. Now guys, this particular money that is being paid to the Facebook, for what purpose this money has been paid? This money has been paid for the digital services. This money has been paid for a digital services. Is it clear or not? Now basically all the revenue that the Facebook is earning, on this particular revenue, they will pay tax in America, not in India. Is it clear? And India will face a loss of revenue loss in this particular thing. Many a times there are certain corporates which are actually registered in some tax haven where the tax rate is very, very low, and then also they are paying the taxes actually into the tax haven where actually the tax rate was very much low. There is actually the double taxation avoidance agreements, fine, you do no need to pay the tax into the two countries. Okay, fine, you will be taxed only once, and they are paying the taxes into their home way back. India is facing a lot of revenue loss. Clear? Now guys, into this particular direction, see, just of all, let's see. Now in this particular direction, the MNCs, they draw a large share of their revenues from outside their home countries, yet they pay most of their taxes in their home country. And the Facebook, Apple, Google, okay, they are doing this particular thing. Now last year in 2021, actually what happened, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, fine, it actually signed an agreement with 136 countries, okay, where the Canada was also there. And in this particular agreement, this particular agreement which was signed last year, it was called as the OECD G20 Base Erosion and Profit Shifting Project. Again, OECD G20 Base Erosion and Profit Shifting Project. Here it was said that as this particular practice is happening where the MNCs are selling the digital service in some another country and are not paying tax there, it was said that we will come out with a mechanism. That at least some residual profits onto that the tax is to be paid in the country where they are earning the money. Clear? For let's say in India also they have to pay some profit, and it was said that we will be coming out with this particular framework in a time bound manner. Clear. And at that point of time it was said that the no country will unilaterally be imposing the taxes till that particular time. It was agreed. In the same agreement, guys, minimum corporate tax of 15% was also agreed. Minimum corporate tax of 15% was also agreed. It was said that no country can keep the corporate tax less than 15%. Okay, if it will happen, then the another country, in order to make up for this, additional tax can be imposed. However, this is not the subject matter here. Now what happened? The Canada. Now the Canada, what happened? It actually imposed a digital service tax of 3% on the large companies that sell various services in the Canada. Now what is the problem in this particular thing? The problem goes like this, that when last year this particular agreement was signed between 136 countries, it was said that till the time we come out with a final guideline, no country will unilaterally impose the tax. And here the Canada had come out with a 3% tax. So USA's trade representative USTR had said that this is wrong thing that has been done by the Canada. Now the Canada had said that if this particular agreement which we agreed in 2021, see, it was said that it will come by the end of 2023 in existence. We will decide in 2 years and by 2023 it will come in existence. Canada says that if it came in existence till 2023, Canada will not go forward with this particular tax. But till then, Canada has a right that they can come out with such kind of a tax, because a lot of money they are getting, their money is getting lost. So this is something that has happened in this particular direction. So that is all, guys, about it. I hope that you have understood it. And now we'll move to the next article. Now, here we have actually merged the two articles, a testing vote and the second, India to face tough choices at UNGA. So this is with respect to the GS paper number 2, International Affairs. GS paper number 2, International Affairs. Now, let's understand that what this particular article is talking about. Now, guys, first of all, the background. Now, guys, the background goes like this, that we have seen that the Russia and Ukraine crisis is going on. Now, the Russia had invaded the Ukraine, and the different countries such as the particularly the West and the USA, now they want to condemn the Russia for such kind of thing. Now, first of all, the resolution was moved into the United Nations Security Council, resolution 8979. This particular resolution was moved predominantly by the USA and Albania, and in this particular resolution it was provided that we should pass it, and the Russia should be condemned for the aggression that they are showing on. Now, in this United Nations Security Council resolution, the India abstained. India did not voted. India abstained. The China also abstained from this particular thing. India abstained, China abstained. Is it clear or not? Even the UAE has abstained. Now even before this UNSC came, it was known that nothing will happen in this UNSC resolution, because Russia is a permanent member in the UNSC. Fine, and Russia will use their veto power. Russia used their veto power. India abstained, China abstained. Therefore, nothing had happened in this particular UNSC resolution. Now, as this UNSC resolution got failed, now there is a kind of a next move that the USA is planning, that is to carry a resolution in the United Nations General Assembly, which has representatives of all the UN countries. This resolution will be moved now against the Russia, and here the USA is already having the support of more than 80 countries. Clear? Now, what India will do? Okay, this is a very tough choice that India has to make. Will India be again abstaining, or India will be changing its stand? So this is something that is being seen here. Now, guys, understand this particular thing, that here obviously if let's say even the India does not vote against the Russia, still more than 80 countries are there which are ready to vote against the Russia. Now, why India is not voting against the Russia? Because Russia is a very important defense partner of India. Moreover, not only a defense partner is there, the Russia is one of the most trusted P5 ally. I told you permanent 5 members are there in UNSC. Russia is most trusted, because, guys, whenever let's say the resolution have been passed against the India for the Kashmir, then always the Russia had come to the help of India. Russia had always voted into the favor of India. So Russia is a very trusted ally. It is a very important defense partner. Moreover, guys, understand this particular thing, that as this particular thing is happening, S-400 S-400 defense system also we are procuring from Russia. It is very much important. But in this particular article, it has been said that India's hesitation is genuine, but India needs to understand that India is is aspiring to be a leading power. But can India be a leading power without having a clear position on a conflict? Okay, India, it is abstaining. So therefore India is neither India is not showing the clear position that whether it is condemning Russia or whether it is in favor of Russia. Just abstain is being made. So for a power who for a country who is trying to be a leading power, it needs to have a very clear foreign policy. Ambiguity will not be appreciated. One thing that has been provided here. Second thing, guys, what is actually happening? Basically, the Russia's operation in the Ukraine, if it is prolonged, clear, what will happen? Obviously, the silence will go in favor of Russia. Clear. Moreover, the second thing is that what is happening in this Russia-Ukraine issue? Basically, Russia is a powerful country. It is attacking their weak neighbor. India also always says the similar kind of thing whenever the China shows aggression against the India. India says that a weak that a powerful country is attacking a modest country such as India. But Russia is also doing the same thing. If will not condemn it, it will go against what we say for the China. So this is something that has come. Now, there is one doubt, sir, why India, China and UAE abstains from voting. Okay, so India has abstained because I told you, because Russia is a very important partner. China, earlier it was favoring, earlier China was favoring the Russia, but now China is also abstaining because, guys, in this particular thing it has been said that as more and more sanctions are imposed on Russia and as the criticism of Russia is becoming very much vehement, China might also invite a kind of a wrath from the West if China will favor more of Russia. So China has little bit changed its stand. Is it clear or not? And the UAE also does not want to come out very clearly. It wants to take the advantage of ambiguity. Clear. So this is about it. Now, the anatomy of India's Ukraine dilemma. Clear. So guys, see, first of all, every day this particular kind of article will be coming which will be talking about this India Ukraine issue. Find too much in the deep, you do not need to go. Clear. But let's see for the understanding what is saying. So first of all, we have seen that in the UNSC, India has abstained from taking any position. This particular thing had happened. Now the article says that right now India has the four options. India has the four options right now. Number one, condemn the Russian aggression. Okay. Second is support the Russian aggression. Number three, stay silent on Russian aggression, do nothing. And the fourth one, express displeasure short of condemning and call for diplomacy. Clear. Now obviously if we'll do the one, first of all, if we condemn the Russia, okay, what will happen? India will be pitted against the Russia. Clear. If we do the second, clear, we will support the Russia, then what will happen? The USA will be if we support the Russia, then the USA will be pitted against the India. If we stay silent, it is little bit more desirable. However, if we express the displeasure and call for diplomacy, it is little bit more than staying silent, and it shows little bit of a more matured response. So what India has done, India has taken this fourth one, that is, we have expressed the displeasure what is happening and we are calling for diplomacy. Now this basically into this particular thing it has been provided that actually the aggressive Russia, it is the problem for the USA, it is the problem for the West, not for the India. If the NATO is expanding, it is the problem of Russia. So why India should be so much of interested? So therefore India is not taking too much of the issue. Is it clear or not? Fine. Now basically guys, coming directly, what will be the impact of such kind of a thing? The impact of such kind of a thing is there actually if Ukraine, if over the Ukraine, Russia is carrying the invasion, and let's say if the Russia becomes powerful on the Ukraine, what will happen into the long term? It will embolden the China. It will embolden the China's territorial ambitions. Today, the China also wants to carry an invasion on many of the disputed territories. Even in India, the Arunachal Pradesh and LAC are there, where the China wants to carry their invasion. If Russia will become successful and the world countries will not say anything, China will get emboldened. Second thing is, it is provided there that, guys, that see, if the sanctions will be imposed on Russia, if this particular issue will go on, then those sanctions will have an impact on India's defense cooperation with the Moscow. There's 400 system that we have to procure from Russia, we might not be able to procure it. Second, then third thing, guys, is saying that if this standoff between the Russia and Ukraine will go for a longer period of time, that China and Russia will come more and more closer, and it will again be against the India's interest. And then finally, if this particular standoff will go, what will happen? That rivalry between between the China and Russia and USA will become intense, and the USA will again be more focused onto the Europe, and the USA will go a little bit away from the Indo-Pacific. And as it will go again away from the Indo-Pacific, the USA, as it was wielding, as it was a very strong weight against the China, that particular weight will go away, and India will left without any allies into this particular region. So these are all the implications in this particular matter on the India that are coming. Is it clear? So directly guys, these are 4 points you need to understand, clear, and you can download this PDF directly from the Telegram channel and you can see it. So that is all about this particular article. Now moving to the next article. A day to embody the true spirit of science. Now guys, in this article much of substance is not there. If you want for your pleasure read, you can read this particular article. This article is actually just talking about the Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate. What is this Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate? This Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate, it is a week-long celebration going from 22 to 28 February. It is the Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate means reverence of the science, reverence and celebration of the science. In this particular 1 week celebration, we are showcasing our scientific legacy, our technology skills, how by investing into the science we got a benefit in defense, space, health, agriculture, etc. Now this Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate, it is a prelude, it is the celebration to mark the National Science Day, which is celebrated on 28th of February each year. Why the National Science Day is celebrated? To mark the discovery of the Raman effect by physicist Sir C.V. Raman. Okay, so Sir C.V. Raman's Raman effect, to mark the celebration of it, we celebrate the National Science Day, and right now the week-long Vigyan Sarvatra Pujyate celebration is going on. So about such kind of thing just have been provided. Clear? Much of the substance is not there into this particular article. Clear? Now we'll move to the next article. No quick fix. Okay, so guys, this particular article is talking about that India needs to develop more and more medical medical colleges, medical institutions in order to train the people who want to pursue their career in the medical sciences. This article will be important for GS paper number 2, issues related to the education. Now, first of all, before going in this particular article, let's see the background of this article. So guys, the background goes like this, that what had happened in Ukraine, large number of students are stranded. Many of these students, they have went to Ukraine for their medical education. Even the Prime Minister has recently mentioned into a webinar that actually there are many of the young Indians who are going to small countries of the world such as the Ukraine for the medical education. Prime Minister said that within our country we need to develop the colleges for the medical education. Is it clear? We need to develop the college for the medical educations. Now, in this particular article, it has been said that right now there are certain of the international destinations which are most favored by the students, such as there is the US, there is the UK, which were most favored. But actually the US, UK and the Europe, they are very expensive countries, and in last 15 to 20 years there are some of the regions which are providing the quality education, but actually education is not very much expensive. And here comes the Ukraine, China, many of the Eastern European countries. Is it clear? So in last few decades, the students are going to Russia, they are going to China, they are going to Ukraine for getting their medical education. They have a good public health care facilities and are very affordable also. Now the Prime Minister calls that in India itself we need to develop the medical colleges, but actually if we see the medical education, it actually requires a significant infrastructure, land, equipment, trained faculty. Is it clear? But if we see in India, the infrastructure is always short into the supply, and because of that we are not able to develop the quality medical colleges. Fine, we are not able to develop it. Fine, we don't have much of the trained personnel also into this particular capacity. Now, moving on in this particular direction, what the Prime Minister says we need to develop the medical colleges, and the Prime Minister has called the private sector to come forward and to develop the medical colleges. But it has been said that simply the private establishments will not solve the problem. If the private colleges are just asked to start the medical colleges, they might not have the long-term commitment, they might not have the focus onto the quality. One problem had already happened. What happened actually, guys? In around 97, 98, 99, there was the dot-com boom that was there. Is it clear? Dot-com internet boom was there. At that point of time, many number of private engineering colleges came in India, and today we find that thousands and thousands of private engineering colleges are there in almost every city, every state. But these private engineering colleges are not producing the quality engineers. These engineers, they don't have any connect with the science. Okay, they don't have a practical skill set. So if we just be calling out the private establishment without focusing whether they have the long term commitments or not, what will happen? The poor quality doctors will also be coming from these particular colleges. So it has been provided that government should instead ease procedure for establishing medical colleges. Government itself should spend more onto the infrastructure and should provide the well curated incentives for the healthcare ecosystem even into the rural areas. Just calling the private sector will not be helping out. Okay, so this is something that is provided here in this particular article. And now we'll be moving to the next article, tackling the plastic problem. So guys, this particular article can be seen with respect to the GS paper number 3, issues related to the pollution, environmental conservation, etc. Now what this particular article is talking about, see, this article is talking about the plastic problem. Now first of all, we all know that the plastic is a very big problem. It is a very problematic pollutant. Fine. Now the article says that today the time has come that we should analyze the social cost of the plastic consumption. What is the social cost of the plastic consumption? You are consuming a lot of products which are being wrapped into the plastic bags. You throw the plastic bag. At the end of the day, this plastic is neither recycled nor it is reused. It ends up into the water bodies, and there it is impacting the marine life and the people who are dependent on fisheries, the people who are dependent on harvesting of the marine resources. Their livelihood is getting impacted. So there is a social cost of this plastic. Poor people who depend on marine resources, poor people who depend on fisheries, their livelihood is getting impacted from the plastic usages. Now guys, plastic, the article says, it represents an example of consumption externality. Now what is the consumption externality? Guys, see this thing. There could be the production externality. First of all, production externality could be there. What is the meaning of production and externality? See, suppose there is an industry. This industry is, let's say, making the pen. This industry is making the pen. While it makes a pen, it's, let's say, is emitting smoke, it is emitting pollution, it is emitting some water wastage. Clear? So this is the production externality. As this particular industry was working, it has emitted some smoke, it has emitted some water wastage. It is the production externality coming out of the production cycle. Then there is one more externality, that is the consumption externality. So as you, me, and we, all of us are consuming the products, our consumption is having some of the negative impact onto the nearby ecosystem or the nearby environment. And the plastic waste is not a problem of production, it is the problem of consumption. Clear? In our consumption, a lot of plastic is there. Is it clear? Everything is in the plastic. So the consumption externality, it is leading to such kind of problem. Now this consumption externality is more challenging to address. Why? See, if there is a production externality, you can identify some 10, 50, 100, 200 industries that are there. You just impose some kind of norm onto that particular industry, and you ask that industry that, okay, you have to reduce the water wastage, you have to reduce the smoke that you are emitting, this technology you have to use, because the production units, they might be handful. So imposing some regularization on them is easy. But consumption externality, where lakhs and crores of people are consuming a product, regularizing them, it is also a very much difficult thing. Moreover, it is difficult to differentiate the behavior of consumers. Clear? Now, but this particular thing is to be managed. Fine. Now guys, it has been provided that what could be done. Some of the countries, for example in the west, they have imposed the ban on the plastic bags. As they have imposed the ban on the plastic bags, fine, it is promoting the sustainable environment. Okay, it is bringing the intergenerational equity, it is saving the marine resources, restoring the soil quality. And at the same time, the industries into those countries have come which are producing the substitutes of the plastic, the gunny bags, the paper bags, or some kind of a degradable forms of packaging materials are coming out. This is something that has been provided. Now the article proposes that we need to impose a special kind of tax, that is the eco tax. eco tax on the plastic products. Now this eco tax will be imposed on various stages of production, consumption, disposal of plastics. When this eco tax will be imposed on the plastic, what will happen? The plastic will become expensive and the consumption of plastic will go down. You need to impose the eco tax, but at the same time we need to determine that what needs to be the rate of this particular tax that is being imposed onto the plastic. Now the rate, guys, should be considered on some certain of the factor number one, that basically the tax should be determined onto the basis of a type of plastic that is there. Now some plastics are more harmful, some plastics are such that they don't get degraded for many thousands of years, so on that the plastic tax rate needs to be very much high. Secondly, the plastic tax rate needs to be such, that actually the money that we can derive out of it can be used for the removal of the plastic from the ecosystem. Clear? And then the plastic tax rate should also be that it can compensate for the social cost of the plastic that is happening. So this is something that has been provided into this particular article. So guys, I hope that you have understood it. However, in the article itself, so much of the hairline and the technical issues are also mentioned, which actually for our UPSC examination are not relevant. So please don't go on such kind of a hairline technical details that are provided. So that is all about this article. Now we'll move to the next article. UN flags Colombo's efforts on rights. Now this particular article, you need to understand under the just GS paper number 2, general awareness with respect to the international relations or our neighboring countries. Now see, basically guys, I'll just tell you a little bit of a background and then we'll come into this particular article. So basically the Sri Lanka, it has been accused of the human right violation. It has been accused by the human right violation by the UN Human Rights Council. What is the issue? See, 1983 to 2009 was a period when there was a civil war going in the Sri Lanka between the security forces, the army of the Sri Lanka, fine, which was constructed of the Sinhalese. Okay, now these Sinhalese are the Buddhist people, and on to the another hand there was the armed Tamilian groups, particularly the Litte was there, that is the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Elam. Now these Litte, the Tamilians, were fighting with the security forces. Now as this particular thing was going on from 1983 to 2009, it was said that during this particular time a lot of human right violations have happened. Even the security forces of Sri Lanka, they have committed atrocities on people, particularly the Tamilian. Their murders have been committed, many a times atrocities, even the rapes have been committed. Now it has been said that though the war got ended in 2009, clear, the Sri Lanka has not taken any step to bring justice into this particular matter. A war crime investigation was started by the office of the UN High Commissioner for the Human Rights, and it found in 2015 that at that time both the Litte as well as the Sri Lanka had committed the war crimes and had carried out the human right violations. Now the Sri Lanka, it is a state. The security forces, they are actually a state agency. How they can do that particular kind of thing? And guys, since 2015, many a times basically an attempts have been made to pass a resolution where the Sri Lanka can be held guilty of the war crimes that have happened. Now what is this present article? Okay, so this is all about the background. What is this present article talking about? So guys, recently a new report has been published which just have come out now, just in a few days. 49th session of the UN Human Rights Council will be there, and this new report, it has flagged that Colombo, the Sri Lanka, had committed the human right, and it has committed the human right violation and has not done anything. So it has made the things little bit difficult for the Sri Lanka. Clear? So this is something that has come. Now you need not to go and read this particular report, okay, because just the same things are being provided, that the human right violation happened, atrocities was committed, nothing has been done. This is just the concept that is there. Okay, so this is all guys about this particular article. Okay, and with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Okay, so that is all, and now we'll be meeting tomorrow. Till then guys, please take care of yourselves. That is all. If you have liked the video, please do like the video, please do leave a comment if you are appreciating it. Thank you.